He started Christian McCaffrey on his fantasy team every week of the season. I'm here to tell you, Christian McCaffrey hasn't been healthy at all. I'm Ethan Schwager alongside Ben Yates. This is the Burger Shop. How you doing, Ben?
As a guy who actually drafted CMC, I am actually appalled by what is going on here, Schwags. I'm appalled and disgusted by how long this man can sit on the sidelines. And
Yeah,
I
and
know there's injuries, but come on.
while we're recording this, Jordan Mason just got hurt as well.
Yeah, it's terrible. Free Mason, man. They're going to have to go to the third string running back. And honestly, I didn't think they needed CMC to be good enough to make the playoffs, but apparently they do. I mean, it is a real horror show over there. It is not good. And I think San Francisco fans are appalled as well.
You know, and I love this. I love this San Francisco team. I mean, I did last year. I mean, I covered them at the Super Bowl. It was pretty cool. Just the typical. If this show was here at that time, we would have had a lot of good content.
I mean, we always would have a great content, Schwigs, but especially when Brock Purdy was on his high rise. I mean, God.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get the good content with Brock Purdy. Just with all those media scrums. I mean, the best was being able to sit down at a table and talk to Brandon Ayuk. We had a Cronkite news reporter go in
ASU legend
on the Monday and ask him what's his favorite spot in Tempe. He said Burrito Express. So I just sat down and had a conversation with Brandon Ayuk on Burrito Express. Shout out.
That can't be the best spot in Tempe. I'm sorry. That cannot be the best spot.
It is so good.
Is it really that good?
Have you never?
I don't think it's. I've never been to Burrito. Sorry, got mixed up with my restaurant.
You don't.
Burrito Express. I haven't been there.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever sat down and eaten my burrito there, but wow, it's incredible. I mean, and you even go into the content, the owner and his social media game is on point. He tweeted out, I need to find this tweet. He tweeted out a shot at the refs last week, and Kenny Dillingham retweeted it.
Really?
Yeah, it was let me pull this up. I have to scroll down because he's very active on Twitter, the owner is, but it was something along the lines of, these refs are never allowed to come to our restaurant.
They're banned from having a bad night.
Oh, here, Burrito Express. If they call that shit a catch, no Big 12 ref will ever be served at a Burrito Express restaurant for the next 500 years.
That's a heavy penalty right there. I think they pulled out the red flag.
You need to try it. It is, I mean, it's phenomenal. There's something about it. It's just, I'm a big breakfast burrito guy. I mean, to the point where, I may have had a show on Blaze Radio called Sunrise with Schwags, and the pilot episode of me was me sitting in my closet talking to myself for 30 minutes, which is the weirdest thing. That's like the weirdest thing, right?
But I do trust I do trust you on Burrito Express. I just need to go and try it. I did
a whole segment on the best breakfast burrito. I was just, because Doghouse, like, if you ever gone to Doghouse,
absolutely, yeah, great.
Those guys, I mean, they'll give you cardiac arrest, but those got a good breakfast burrito as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that I'm surprised. I know, I'm certain food is top priority everywhere, but when I hear about best spot on Mill, food is not really what I'm thinking of on that question.
Okay, but that's what you want as a GM. You don't want them saying Casa, right? You don't want them saying their favorite college bar.
So you don't want them to tell the truth. You want them to lie. You want them to lie.
Protein, not the carbs. And I've gotten to ask that question to somebody else. I got to ask that to, top golfer, one of the top golfers in the world, John Rahm. And his spot is the Q Club on Mill.
That's interesting.
His food spot was also Chompy's in Tempe, which I told him Chompy's could close down, and he said, I will
always go Fuzzies. I'm sorry, I will always go Fuzzies or Rusty Taco. But
I mean, look.
But if you're talking about food in all of Tempe, then it's got to be. There's no other place in the world to get a better burger than Tempe for the Chuck Box. It's cash only, but the Chuck Box is the best burger spot I've ever been to.
Bro, let's just go into a whole talk about cash only places. I mean, these places are all money laundering schemes with the best.
Yeah, look, I understand how good Chuck Box is, and I understand that I'm going to go out of the way to do cash only before I even arrive there. That's something that I have to go into knowing. However, I agree with you, Schwags, that cash only is for bums. I don't like the idea of doing cash only in 2024.
But any cash only place, you know they got good food because they're still around being able to run that.
That's right. Honestly,
you have to have
the best
enough
food places, there's always a tell sign, Schwags, and it's always those plastic Coca-Cola cups. You know exactly what I'm talking about, too.
You know, like, I think I could, I mean, I think I might be able to start a restaurant and be successful. There is a 0% chance today I can start a restaurant that is cash only, because I think that has to be instilled into the brand, you know, sometime way before COVID, because nobody is going to a place with cash unless you have the intention of spending cash.
Schwags, I understand that, you know, no one carries cash in their wallets anymore. And honestly, that's fine with me. If you're 40 years old and older, you can probably get away with having cash on you. But what are you doing as a millennial or Gen Z with cash in your wallet? And actually, Schwags, this is a great segue to what I wanted to talk to you about, because we have someone that we know that is doing something quite egregious with their wallet that needs to be handled and sought out with immediately. I know somebody, Schwags, and I don't know how you feel about this, that puts their wallet in their right pocket, the right side of their pants, the front right pocket. They put their wallet and their phone in the same pocket.
Whenever I put my phone in my wallet in the same pocket, like, the phone's bound to fall out every time.
Yeah. Especially when you sit down. It's always when you sit down, one of the two things is going to fall out.
You know, and I've been fortunate to not be in a place where I could get pickpocketed where that happens, where one of those falls out, because I've had it in Italy where I was, you know, they always talk about these tourist places that you get pickpocketed. And sure, if I was in Rome or Florence, like, I 100%, you know, that wallet is gone. Because it occasionally falls out. Or in Rwanda, I had somebody chase me down to hand me back my stuff that fell out. And that was real nice. Shout out to that security guard. But
do you find it egregious to have them in the same pocket? In the same pocket. You have the left pocket.
I do it occasionally, but it's not a smart move. I would never call myself intellectual for doing that.
Do you think that there's a lot of people in this world that don't understand the idea of having a wallet and phone in separate pockets? Because you see, I have a dad that he really does have that phone case with the wallet accessory on it, so he has wallet phone together, but it's not like the, you know, two separate items. I know, but this person I'm talking about, we both know who he is, and he knows who he is. He has a separate wallet and a separate phone and puts them in the same pocket at the same time. That is too much in one pocket. And the left side is reserved for, like, AirPods, keys, and other accessories, maybe coins as well. He probably has spare coins in his pocket, Schwags. And honestly, that's another conversation we can have. Because if you have a lot of coins in your pocket, you need to empty that out yesterday. I'm sick of it.
I probably have like 3 different currencies in my wallet. I'm gonna be honest.
The Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Shout out to Mr. Worldwide. I mean, you know, while we're recording this, like, I don't know if you've heard it. I don't know if you've heard the New York Mets theme song for the 2024 season.
I have not.
It's called OMG, and it's by Jose Iglesias, the Mets infielder, who it goes by the musical name of Candelita, and it became a rallying cry. So he got signed in the offseason. And was signed to a minor league deal. Got called up in May and was just going around and be like, yeah, well, I didn't know if I was going to sign for a baseball team, so I just started a music career. And all of a sudden during the season he goes and performs this song, has his own post-game concert when he releases it, and it became such a rallying cry, and it's such a good song that Pitbull decided to hop on the remix.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hear it. I'm gonna have to go back and hear it after this.
You're gonna have to hear it. It's crazy. He made it his walk-up song. And so the whole season, the Mets, they have this like wood, like a Mets fan who's a carpenter, like made this wood OMG sign for the song. And then he handed it to the team, and they just posed with it. Every time somebody hits a home run, there are like three of the guy who hit the home run, like Luis Severino as well, the pitcher, one of the pitchers, and a couple other guys will all get in a picture, and they'll just take it with the OMG sign.
That's fantastic. We're straying away from what my talking point was. What do you actively have your wallet with your phone?
Well, I don't carry my wallet half the time.
What?
Yeah, because Apple Pay is everywhere. So I just need my wallet for my ID. So if I'm not planning on going out to drink, I don't need my wallet with me.
Do you drive?
What?
Do you drive without your
I am
ID?
such a good driver that I don't need that.
You drive without your ID?
Is that blasphemous?
Yes.
Like, I'm not going long distance. Like, if I was driving a long distance, like if I was
talking you're talking crime. This is a crime.
To be fair, until I got my new phone, I just have to redo it. Maryland is one of the few states that has a mobile ID, so you can have your Apple Wallet have your ID.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did I put it in my new phone? No, okay. I still haven't. But it is something.
Oh, okay, now we're scrapped again. He's still driving without an ID, no matter what. This is
and
incredible.
It's funny. I even before I went to a Bruce Springsteen concert last month with my parents, and we were going to this bar, and it was like before and I didn't drink at this bar, but it was like Ole Miss fans, like an Ole Miss fan club. And the guy, I'm like, look, like all these people who are around me, because my parents friends have known me since I was like born. Like they can test them 22. The guy was just like show me. Do you have a picture of the ID on your phone? I'm like, no. And he was just like, show me a picture on your phone, and then I'll just act like I saw your ID and you can come in. I'm like, okay, perfect.
That's got to be the chillest security guard I've ever heard of. There's
I got a better story. I got a better one. When I was 19 or 20, I think I was 19, and I go with my friends to College Park, Maryland, and I don't have a fake, right? So I go, and my friend Alex is like, oh, I have an extra fake. He's like with us in the group, but like he's like, I got an extra fake, you can use it, whatever. So I go to this bar, and they show them the ID, and they're like, the bouncer was like, what's your name? I was like, Alex. He's like, what's your last name? And I said the last name. And then he was like, what's your address? And I'm like, I don't know. And then he asked me another question. I'm like, God. I don't know. And he said, go back outside, take 5 minutes, study that ID, and come back and tell me. That's one of my favorite stories. And so I go back, and he lets me in. And then, like, to leave the bar and go back in and stamp you, right? Just to make sure you're checked. And I was like, can I get a stamp? And he looks at me, and he just rolls his eyes and gives me the stamp.
How you get away with that is actually mind-boggling to me. While over here in Arizona, you can't have a vertical ID anymore. It's ridiculous. Or actually, was it the other way around? No, they can't have a vertical ID anymore. I had a friend that was tagged for it at a bar, like couldn't get in because he had a vertical Arizona ID. It was valid. It was very valid ID, but it's just vertical instead of horizontal.
And they typically give you a little bit, like if it's the night of your 21st, they'll let you have it.
Yeah, this guy was 21 and didn't have it. So.
But like when you go, a little bit past that, because it's the same thing in a lot of places. In Maryland, that's the same case, to the point where it's like, oh, I got to ask the manager. It was like a month out, a month after. They're like, I got to ask the manager if you're 21, if you can.
Whatever.
And they're like, okay, next time. And I just use this BS. I was like, yeah, my passport, I would give you my passport, but my passport's actually at the Italian embassy, so I can go to Italy. This last year. It wasn't. It had to go. Like, I did give it to the embassy eventually. but at that point, it wasn't at the embassy. But that's how I got my drinks. You can't really avoid alcohol when our guest, our great guest, is like playing the official sport of drinking.
I mean, if you want to have a sport where you can take a little sip of a drink in between takes there, this is the sport to do it, Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the one sport in the world where really, like, I mean, next to bowling, really, is the only one where you can absolutely hold another item in your hand that's food or beverage and still be able to compete at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy that we're going to be talking to is one of a kind. MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season.
Yeah, and I'm so excited because we're gonna have some follow-up content, and there are plans for some really cool stuff in the future with our guest. So I'm really excited for that as well. Not to rush anything, but
no, it's gonna be great. I wanted to get to a couple of things, Schwigs, right before we go into that, because we just ended a week of some high-level competition. And it's one of those weeks, Schwigs, that people look forward to annually. And I don't think everyone's totally aware of it, but I need to bring it up because there is some peak athleticism that happens in this competition. And it does get bloody. It gets gruesome. And I am indeed talking about one thing.
UFC?
I'm talking about Fat Bear Week, baby. Fat Bear Week was back. Fat Bear Week in Alaska. Schwigs, if you don't know about it, or if anyone else that is listening right now is under a rock, Fat Bear Week is the week every year where a March Madness style bracket is released in Alaska so people across the country can vote on the fattest bear in Alaska. And this year, the competitors were unlike any other. Grazer, the champion from last year, defending her title, going up against in the finals a bear beloved by all named Chunk. Chunk had all the love in the world until it was discovered, Schwags, that Chunk earlier in the summer killed Grazer's cub in broad daylight. So Chunk, the murderer, got left out. It was a clean sweep for the back-to-back champion, Grazer.
So what I'm hearing here is this is like a Lion King type of situation.
Very much so. Very much so. And it was very sad for the fans of Chunk to learn that they were supporting a criminal all this time. But that's the reality of the show. I mean, what you going to do about it?
Where can I, follow this?
Well, Schwags, Fat Bear Week is pretty easy to follow. You look it up on Instagram, and you'll find hashtags, tweets, and everything all over the place, all across the internet. Because this is really a national monumental event all across the first week of October. It is always a thrill. And it's just about what you expect. I mean, these are wild animals, but at the end of the day, you're voting for cuteness.
How do they track which ones are how do they track the wild animals?
I believe there's
one answer.
I believe there are trackers in the animals. And camera crews that do try and follow them around.
And they didn't stop that one bear from eating the other bear's cub?
It's the wild, man. You got to let the wild be what the wild is.
It's the circle of life?
It's the circle of life. Circle when Yahweh.
You see how my lips barely moved there? I felt like Frankie Valli, bro.
Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli. Actually, I think I have a clip on standby. Let me get a clip real quick.
How many Frankie Valli songs can you name?
Frankie Valli song? I know Grease. Is that good enough?
I guess. I've never seen Grease.
Okay. No, I'm gonna.
Night.
Oh wait, here we go. Here we go.
Na 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 na. Actually, I think like I think it's a difficult thing. Like, is he singing or is there a backing track there? Because I think it could go either way.
He's a
Because
ventriloquist, man.
well, I've seen him talk. You know, there are videos of him talking, and he still goes like this and barely moving his mouth. Like, but I just
It's incredible.
like if I was in chorus, which I was, like if I was in my choir class with Mr. McFeeters back in middle school, and he saw me and my lips moving like that, he'd be like, Ethan. He would just yell out, Ethan, you're not singing. Like that's what would happen. And we were like the best choir in the state, the best middle school choir. I'm not joking.
Wow.
We got a perfect score at the Music in the Parks Festival, a competition that they win like every year, but we were the first ones to get the perfect score ever.
A little bragging rights over there for Ethan Schwager.
It was not me, not my doing, but my voice was there. We even have a video. I think there's like 17,000 views on YouTube of us singing.
Is that right?
I think so.
17,000 views of Ethan Schwager singing.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to pull it up in this part, but it might be a thing in the future.
I'll hold you to that. I'll hold you to it. We'll see that in the future eventually. It'll be episode 3 of the Burger Shop because I want that as soon as possible on my desk in the morning.
18,000.
18,000.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was like the White Winter hymnal, and we like all did like these clapping things. We like dun, 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 like this stuff, and we're just like all fit, going across and like hitting each other's laps and stuff. I guess I'll do it standing up so you can see it. So it's like this, and then this, and then we just like go like that. It was really weird. I'm not gonna lie, but we were pretty good.
I mourn for the audio audience that didn't get to see that. That was fantastic. I think you should do a live demonstration when we play the music video the next time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Easily.
You want to hear the audio though? Some of the audio.
Let's do some of the audio. Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's see. Here was like the intro.
Please enjoy our soon-to-be new YouTube sensation performance of White Winter Hymnal.
It wasn't a YouTube sensation. It was like 18,000 views.
YouTube sensation.
And then you have our teacher just like doing some hand motions first to try to just get us into it. And then I think it's about to start soon, I guess. I don't even know who the piano player is. I've never met this guy before. He like came and did the piano stuff. But like we were just it was like very coordinated, like a very coordinated effort. This is a song White Winter Hymnal. Let's see. I'm sure
Oh Lord.
it's not bad.
No, it's not.
I'll get a little bit more and then
I was following the eye, was following the tide.
Lots of red tide round the cross. I think it sounds good. I still think it holds up. But this is where the clapping stuff goes.
Oh.
I think it's pretty cool. I still think that was really cool.
Okay. What? How old were you? What was it? What grade was this?
8th grade, and I was in
Eighth
alto.
grade.
So for those that don't know, there's sopranos and altos, which are like the female singers, and then there are tenors and bass. But I had a really high, like Mickey Mouse voice that I think if the teacher allowed it, I'd be a soprano. Like that's how high my voice was. But I was in the alto group. It was me and a few other guys, but mainly girl, like 99% girls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My voice no longer like that, but hey, we make some good music.
Well, speaking of making good music, we're gonna be talking to someone that makes beautiful music with the flick of the wrist in just a moment here. Jeremiah Ellis, the greatest Cornhole League player right now. In America right now. MVP and Rookie of the Year just this last season. Can't miss this interview. It was an all-timer. And yes, there was some beer involved. Like Kamala Harris and Stephen Colbert drinking beer together, Schwags. It was very much like that. We need to eventually we'll become one of those shows that does have a beer drinking segment. And I think this is one of those guests that really would inspire that out of our audience to go get a 6-pack and listen to this interview. Because I honestly think this is going to be one of the better interviews we'll have in a while. I can't wait for him to come back.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
Drinking beer right now.
Yeah, I know. I'd have a Friday night crowd in the palm of my hand.
Dos Equis in the fridge just waiting for me.
Cup of brown liquor, a couple buddies in a band. That's a quote from a Luke Combs song.
We will have the interview for you in just a moment. But yes, again, this is one of the best cornhole players in the world right now. And he's pretty fresh to the scene too. And believe it or not, his cornhole profession is not the first job or primary job that he has at the moment. It is a really interesting interview, and I can't wait for y'all to listen to it. So, without further ado, Schwags, let's send it over to Jeremiah Ellis. Just a hassle dealing with this guy all the time.
You got one of those? I got one of those too. When I got a partner who's just he just drives me up the wall.
Oh God, you're speaking to the choir over here, man. Like I'm just always talking about Schwags, get off my back. Like, welcome to the show, to the burger shop, Jeremiah Ellis, everyone. One of the cornhole players that we have been all looking at right now. We really wanted to get cornhole, fling golf, and sign holding is what we've been looking at as the first few sports, and now we get one of the professionals in the league right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the 2024 MVP and Rookie of the Year for the American Cornhole League. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a little more to it. Man of the Year, Team of the Year, Game of the. I won just about everything that they could offer last year.
So the Wilt Chamberlain of American Cornhole League is who we are talking to today, Jeremiah Ellis. And it is interesting enough that actually we looked it up. The people to get MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season does include Wilt Chamberlain in the list, as well as Will Schwags, Ichiro, Candace Parker, and who else is there? Jim Brown. Wes Unseld was another guy from the NBA. But yeah, you were an elite company, sir. Elite.
I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool, actually. I knew cornhole wise, I was the only player to ever do that, but that's pretty awesome to know that.
Well, now you can tell all your friends and family that you are just as good as Wilt Chamberlain was.
No, I already tell them that. Don't worry.
What's most fascinating to me, and I reached out, I came across your profile, I was doing a little bit of research, and I texted Ben, I said, we need this guy on the podcast. We need him. And what strikes me as most fascinating is cornhole is, it's one of America's favorite sports, right? You got a lot of guys who look at Scotty Scheffler playing golf and say, I think I could do that, until they realize they couldn't. Cornhole is, I would say, one of the most popular sports to play in America. You go to every tailgate, you go to every party, and, you get your red Solo cup, you fill it up with a light beer or heavy, if that's your preference, and you go and toss the bags.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. That's exactly where I find cornhole. We play at cookouts, family functions, tailgates, all that good stuff. And I was that person, cornhole, I could do that. Nah, man, the first time I stepped out there, I think I got skunked for 3 months. I didn't score a point against the competition, but I'm one of those guys. I'm when I get beat up and I suck at something, it just drives me to be better.
No, and I also really do. I agree with Swag too that you play it all the time, at every tailgate, beaches, backyard parties, it's everywhere. And you do have the hubris you always go up to oh, I got this. Beer pong is also one of those activities where you're yeah, I got this. This is easy. Walk in the park, and then you show up and you're missing bag and ball after you have no idea how bad you are until you finally step up to the plate. But you, sir, have found a way to not only step up to the plate, but just live in it and then become the best in the league. So how you talked about how you wanted to drive, but how did you really get better to that point?
So I mean, I just started playing competitive cornhole in 2017 is when I first found competitive cornhole. I mean, I practiced like that first year when I first found it. I just kept getting skunked. I couldn't score a point, and I was just terrible. I mean, I practiced like 2 hours a day every day for a year. You know, after work, I'm in the yard sweating. We're just grinding. And then 2 years ago, I took a year off because I had my fourth child, and life was just hitting me. And I feel like in that year, I didn't play cornhole, but maybe once or twice that year. It helped me mentally to like understand myself. I started going to therapy, and it just helped me mentally, which helped my game on the court. And I would attest that the figuring out the mental thing for myself is what put me over the hump to eventually be the number one player in the world.
Well, once again, on the topic of going in every event having cornhole, whether it's a cookout or the tailgate or the birthday party, have you ever like in the time of your success, you ever felt like a ringer just going up and people don't know that you're that good and you go up there and just dominate and they're like, "Are you professional?"
I would say yes. That actually was the case more times than not until like I would say beginning of last year, and then that was the one time I would go places and people would know that I'm really good at cornhole. Before that, I found a lot of those. I got a lot of free beer at bars and stuff because of that.
Do people feel intimidated by you now? You walk up and they all run away from the cornhole, like you're just alone there, like wanting some competition at that point?
I mean, if we're talking tailgates, barbecues, and stuff like that, if it's people that know me, they're like, "Oh, you got to throw left-handed," or they're like, "Well, you're not included." So, I mean, those are the two options I have nowadays at my tailgates and family cookouts.
We actually do have a list of people that may not feel intimidated at all, or might just be able to compete in cornhole, don't we, Twigs? We have done this. The last time we did this was with Bling Golf last week, where we presented with him Sam Scantron was his name. 5 people in the world that could possibly compete in his sport, and he had to decide yes or no if they would beat him or not. And so, without further ado, we have the first one up here. It's Luke Combs.
It's not happening.
It's not.
No way in hell. He can sing a song better than me, but he ain't beating me. I like the beard that's going on there. That's nice, and I like the swag he's got. But nah, it ain't happening.
So you wipe him pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
What score is there?
You think the score 21-0 all day?
All right, 21-0 for Luke.
I might give him a pity point. You never know.
Does he sing good enough just to give him one pity point, or?
I mean, just because I like his music, maybe.
How many beers would it take you before you lose to him? Like, what's the beer handicap?
If you ask my friends around here, it's not the beers. You give me liquor, and then it's just downhill. So everybody's verdict is 1 a.m. You get Jeremiah at 1 a.m. and you're probably going to smoke. So,
all right, the next one is Gronk.
I'm 100% skunking Gronk just because I know his, how amped up and how bad he wants to win. Plus, they had that FanDuel app where you could like pretend to play cornhole and bet real money.
Right.
I'm smoking that, man.
You're also stealing his money.
I'm not giving him a point though. I'm not even going to give him a pity point.
All right. Gronk is also swept. Now we have one of the greater musicians of our lifetime here. I'm not sure if age is a factor when you're weighing this decision here, but how well do you think Frankie Valli will do?
I mean, I still haven't seen anybody score a point yet out of all these names you just brought up. I mean, age don't mean nothing. In the professional cornhole world, we got people 75 years old that are pros all the way down to 12 years old. So I'm cool with it. Don't matter what your age is. I'm all right with smoking.
Is there a chance that I might be able to compete against the 12-year-old in that league, or am I going to get smoked by him?
If you want the 12-year-old in the league, you don't want him. I think you'd rather play my 5-year-old. He actually just turned 6. He's pretty good, but you might be able to compete against him.
Would your 6-year-old beat one of us, you think, or beat any of the people on the list?
But you don't know my skill, man. You don't know my skill.
I don't. Okay.
That's what I was going to say. I think it would be a good matchup. I mean, the way I look at like backyard cornhole now to professional, I think it would be a good matchup. My 6-year-old, he's pretty good. He foot fouls a lot. I'll tell you that. But other than that, he's pretty solid. I think you could take him though.
We'll allow a couple foot fouls every now and then. I might need them.
No, stop it. We're not allowing that. No. Pull out the red flag, man. No.
I mean,
no such thing.
No, of course not. I mean, are you going to say that now in Pong you're going to let your elbow go over the table? I mean, this is blasphemous.
Well, I mean, it depends. If we play in pro Pong, I mean, technically your elbow can go over the table. Your hip can't touch the table.
No cleaning.
House Pong, you know?
I mean, yeah, house rules always change. I get it. They always change.
All right. The next one is Marge Simpson. I think the hair might be able to give her some balance in this work. The footwork seems impeccable here.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what you're thinking. I think the form here might just take the cake.
Only thing I'm looking here is, I don't know if you guys know who Ryan Trader is. He's one of the best in the world. He's a 13-year-old kid. Her motion right now just resembles his motion. So she might be pretty solid, honestly. That long wind up and that long step. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give Marge a solid 6.
6
points.
All right.
6 points.
Huge. And now I think we have, one more here. Sparty. Michigan.
Hero, bro. You don't even have to keep talking, bro. That's Michigan. I'm a Buckeye at heart. We ain't losing. We ain't even going to let Michigan do anything. It's all OHIO around here, baby.
You know, that's where we went with them, because I was like, oh, what if we put the Michigan Wolverine? And I was like, nobody knows who that is. Like, Michigan Wolverine is such an irrelevant match.
I honestly have never seen the Wolverine.
You got to go with Sparty instead, right? Like, represent.
All day. I 100% agree. I mean, I'll root for Michigan State way more than I will, Michigan. But, yeah, I agree with the mascot thing.
Actually, Schwigs, I think there's one more in here. Oh, look who's returned. Big Justice and AJ, the Costco guys. I don't know if they're going to be good at cornhole, but I think a duo team here, they might be able to throw a couple double chocolate chunk cookies your way.
Is this father-son right here? Like,
yeah, they are.
Do you know these guys? You ran into them at Costco, or like you actually know these guys?
They're like big on TikTok.
Big.
I think I just must be getting old because I can't keep up with TikTok. But I mean, they look like they can party, so they probably can throw some bags. Honestly, I feel like if you can party, you can throw some bags. So they'll probably score like 8 points.
More than Marge. Look at that. All right, those were the only ones that we had, but I'm glad that at least someone scored points against you. That's what really.
You're glad I'm not. I didn't even. It hurt me to say they was going to score. I was like, I just can't keep giving people zeros.
Well, they probably would all get zeros then. You would think.
I would actually agree with that.
Okay, all right. Very good. It's good to keep it real. You're just the best. MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
of the year. I don't think any one of them can get to do that. I mean,
I agree. Like, unless you play cornhole seriously, you're probably not going to score. That's just the way I look at it.
And honestly, I do want to know what is the most humiliating win that you have? Like, you've humiliated someone to the point where they might have cried and walked away after playing against you.
I mean, in the course of a tournament, we play with so many different ages. I mean, from like, I'm not kidding, like 70-something to 12. So, I mean, the younger kids usually, you could beat them by 2, and sometimes they get upset. I mean, but now, like, I feel like they're all getting better at handling their emotions. But I definitely had that happen a few times. But I always chase them down. We shake each other's hands, and I'm like, you get her next time.
So you've made a 12-year-old cry in a tournament before, is what you're saying?
I don't know if he was 12. I think he might have been 14. But yes,
More excusable. I mean, I've had some celebrations when winning in cornhole. I had the Steph Curry put him to sleep.
Oh my God! On a 14-year-old Schwags?
What?
On a 14-year-old?
Age don't matter in cornhole. Tell him age don't matter.
No, but I was, it was laughed up because I know my partner, who was my dad in this tournament, he wasn't gonna win it, and so I was down. I mean, we had like 2 points to go. It was probably like 18-16. I put it in the hole, like glass shot. Felt great.
Crazy.
As one of the last bag going in for the win it's a solid feeling. I don't care if you're in the backyard or on the big stage. It don't matter. A win is a win.
And when you get it straight in and don't even roll it up, that's the best feeling in the world.
All right, I didn't realize how like you guys are kind of like noobs when it comes to cornhole. You said straight in. We call that an airmail. All right, I get it. It's all right. You play Call of Duty. You look like you've been like playing Call of Duty since you was in the womb. I understand. It's all right. But it's called an airmail. Straight in, we call it an airmail.
Schwags, we just got ratioed right there.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We got found out pretty fast. This is how he decimates his opponents. He gets MVP for a reason, people. He knows how to get in your head. This is very domination.
That's what they tell me. I guess that's why they nicknamed me the Boogeyman. I got a whole, I got a jersey made for it and all that,
Yeah, I also I found out in another interview you did that you're also a UPS driver. Is that right?
Yeah, if you can see, my little UPS truck right here.
Oh,
yes, I am a UPS driver. I've been doing that. I've been at UPS for 15 years. I've been driving for 10.
Okay. And I also had the initial thought as soon as I realized that you were a UPS driver and professional cornhole player. Are you the reason my packages get thrown into the doorway, or is that someone else?
Well, unless you live in like the central Columbus area, it's not me. But if you are around central, I can't guarantee anything. That's all I want to say.
But do you have the
packages right on the doorstep?
Listen, I don't know if my bosses are ever going to see this. I don't know if they're going to watch this. So, yeah, I'm going to just plead the fifth right now.
That's very safe. It's a good call. We thought we had a gotcha question there. Finally find the criminal that's been doing this to my packages.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of them, honestly. The process it goes to get to your door, it's a strenuous process. So, who knows who did it to your package, man.
What is something about that delivery service that we don't know about?
I don't even know if I'm even allowed to tell you. I mean, it's like Area 51 around there, bro,
Oh, gee.
I'm not even going to take pictures inside the building. They don't want any of the information to go. So you ain't getting it from me. You better call 1-800-PICK-UPS, baby.
Yeah, that's the whole reason Ben wanted to do this interview. He just wanted all the UPS secrets.
Hey, listen,
text me on the side. We'll talk over there.
Okay, there we go.
So I noticed something else in your backdrop. You have a Miami Dolphins Bud Light can.
Yeah, I am a Dolphins fan. Unfortunately, I don't like to talk about them anymore. But yeah, it's rough.
So I mean, especially with Tua with his injury record so far. I mean, I know that's an emotional standpoint for a lot of Dolphins fans, and it is really emotional to see as an outsider of the Dolphins fan base. It's hard to watch, but I do wonder, cornhole-wise, are there any injuries that could even relate to that kind of trauma that Tua has to keep enduring time after time?
There's no way possible to have an injury in cornhole that amounts to that. I mean, I don't know if there's hockey, maybe, but like Tua's concussions I just want the man to take like his own personal health into consideration before he makes any decision, because I'm tired of seeing him do that. Like, stop making me cry, dude. Like, just stop.
Yeah, I mean, to watch that live, I think our alma mater, Arizona State, was playing football at the same time. So I had the two TV setup with the with that game on one of the TVs, and then the audio on the Arizona State versus Texas State game. But I saw that hit, and I was like, you're just looking at Tua like, why, dragging your head into that? But at the same time, it's just like over and over again. I don't know how much he can take of it.
No, I mean, I understand why he dives. I mean, at the end of the day, he don't know where the first down is, and he's a competitor. You gonna give everything you got. The crappy thing is just how many times he's had a concussion that, well, now him doing that puts himself at further risk. So, dog, let it be 4th and inches. Slide all day long. Just slide, dude. They're not gonna be mad at you for inches. If you can't get inches, I'm sorry, you shouldn't win the game anyways.
Yeah.
And now as someone looking at Jalen Waddle to be a wide receiver replacement right now, I am very upset for Tua being gone because I need Jalen Waddle to succeed. But it might be time to move on to Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I mean, you got the fantasy issues, and then our whole offense. I mean, Devon Achane is like one of the best running backs in fantasy, if you ask me. But
yeah,
he can't stay healthy either. Like, that's just our whole team. Jalen Phillips is injured now. Listen, let's just stop talking about the Dolphins. Next subject.
Sway off left to you there.
So, I mean, I every now and then, whenever it's on TV, I'll turn on ESPN or ESPNU, whatever it's on. I see cornhole, I watch it. Cornhole, one of the most prominent sports when it comes to sponsorships all over. What does it mean to you to wear the Bush's baked beans right over your chest?
So I mean, like, Bush's Baked, it don't mean as much to me as maybe it does someone else. Bush's Baked Beans is a sponsor of the whole league, so that sponsor is on my chest no matter what. No, that the other sponsors, Ultra, Canine Unit, all my other sponsors, those mean more to me because I know them. They know me personally. We have a relationship, and it's like it's a group effort to build each other's brands and help each other out. So those ones mean more. Bush's Baked Beans, I mean, I love Bush's Baked Beans. They're great. But, I mean, that sponsorship don't mean that much to me, if you ask me.
But can you talk a little bit about your partnership with the sponsors that you personally have and what goes into that as an individual athlete? What goes into maintaining those relationships?
I mean, so I'm going into my second year as an ACL pro. It's a lot, honestly. For me personally, though, I want to build. I don't even like to call them sponsorships. I call them partnerships because I'm not just out to get your money. No way. I want you to see your value in me, and I want the ROI to blow out the water. I want to make you more money than you gave me all day long. So just building a personal relationship with all these other brands and learning myself more and figuring ways out to also help them along the way is it's just awesome. Like, that's one of my favorite things about being a professional cornhole player is all the relationships I get to build along the way. And I get I have to better myself every day just to also help all these other brands out that they got my back.
Yeah. I mean, I also had the question of, kind of go back to Bush's Baked Beans here. But have you eaten baked beans recently in your time as, wearing that across your chest? And if you do, what's your favorite way to have those baked beans?
I 100% do. I don't know what my mom does to them. I mean, my mom makes the baked beans for all the holidays. Bush's Baked Beans, I don't know what else she does to them or if she gotta do anything else. But listen, they taste a lot better when you're repping them on your chest at a tournament. They just go down a lot better.
And we also have the theme here is Burger Shop. I mean, that's the title of the show. We're kind of sitting in what looks like a diner. So we're going to have to also ask you, how do you like your burger as well?
I don't know if you're going to judge me or not. I mean, I like them well done. I'm not like fancy or nothing. Well done. I need some cheese on that sucker, ketchup, mayo, lettuce. Do not put onions on there, though. Do not mess with onions. Throw them in the trash. I'm out on that one.
Well done burger? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, steak, dog, you can give me medium rare, but like a burger, I don't want no pink in that burger.
See, that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about in the last episode. We said, look, it's better off in a burger. It's fine, right? if you go well done steak, though, that's where we end this conversation.
Yeah, you should. I get it. Your burger shop. No, you gotta ask them a steak question because that's like now I know what kind of person you are. You're a serial killer or something.
Right. If you're rare, I don't want to talk to you. I mean, that's just too much blood going on.
I'd rather hang out with the rare guy than the well done guy, though.
Oh, I'm
You know?
100%.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Like
That's
the
true.
the rare guy is gonna he gonna have a different personality. You know, he gonna be kind of different, which is gonna be kind of fun.
Yeah, how are you seasoning that well done steak anyway? Like,
It's like beef jerky. You don't.
beef jerky, though.
You're right. You're right. That is an insult to beef jerky. My brother is a well done steak guy, and let me throw some ketchup on it. He even throws ketchup on it.
Ketchup on steak?
Yep. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to my brother and let everybody.
God.
Yeah, but yeah. Hopefully, I'm gonna tag him when this episode drops in the comments, and we can all roast him.
I would love nothing more than to help you out with that. We will blast this out all over TikTok and make your brother well known to the community. Red flags.
Steak eating mofo, bro.
If you couldn't play, if cornhole wasn't your sport, what sport do you wish you could be professional at?
I mean, growing up, young, I wanted to play basketball. You know, I didn't grow tall enough or none of that. You know, so, but I mean, basketball. But to play football is my favorite sport to watch. I mean, other than cornhole, but cornhole, I'm a player, but I'm also like a super fan. So it's a little biased there. But I would say basketball is probably like the sport I would want to play professionally.
What position do you think you do pretty well at?
In basketball?
Right. Yeah.
I probably play all five, honestly. So you just put me at any, bro. I got it. Just put me in, coach.
No, I was thinking, probably like shooting guard.
Well, I mean, I definitely had a great jump shot, so that's probably fitting. The only issue is I'm over here thinking like I'm a 6-foot guy guarding a 7'6" center. We're ruined. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna figure it out.
And one last thing that we'll do here, we also did this with Scantron last time, is that he had me figure out his sport, like test trial it and everything. With a golf putter, that's different because it's a long stick. But for you, cornhole bags. I don't have any cornhole bags here, but I do indeed have a wallet that does fit the description and size in some format. So
I feel insulted. I mean, I understand. I feel insulted though. Listen, you got to come prepared.
Anything. I wish I had anything here, but I'm also fairly poor when it comes to.
All right, go walk in your kitchen, grab a little plastic baggie, and dump some rice in it. I'd rather you do that than use. That's all right. Use your wallet, bro.
Oh, wait. There we go. Actually,
there we go.
All right, Schwigs, you're going to be the taste test today, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see.
So
get some pro advice here.
I'm watching your tape, right? Watching your highlights. I'm seeing this, throwing it up a couple times. What's the routine?
I don't really have a routine or anything I do every single time I throw. Yes, I mean, it's like competition. Your energy's going. So I flip the bag a little bit or I spin it, but it's always moving. It's never going to just sit in my hand. If you see it sitting in my hand, more times than not, it's because I'm like trying to bring my energy level down because I'm just too excited or too much going on. So if you see me holding it, that's why. But there's no reason. I mean, it just keeps the jitters and the emotions intact.
And when you're, if you ever go to a backyard barbecue, going back to the cookouts, right? And you see somebody flat palming, I don't know if that's the terminology, and throwing it, are you just laughing in their face immediately?
No, those are the guys I want to make best friends with. I think it's a terrible idea. You ball it up in your hand. It's awful. You're really bad. But I like to, I'm going to make friends with, I'm going to see if I can help you out a little bit. I'm going to show you the proper way you should hold it. I mean, there's so many different ways out there and it really comes down to what's comfortable for you. But yeah, those are the ones I'm going to go make best friends with.
And I also noticed your flick of the wrist is really it is automatic every time, and I don't exactly know how to do that very cleanly, but you do it almost like a routine to a point where it's just down to a science. How long did it take you to develop just automatic flick?
So I would say since I started playing, my stance is the same, my motion's the same, everything. The flick of the wrist is the same. Like it's all pretty similar to when I very first started. It's just like I just tuned it up a little bit. Now I don't kick my leg out as far. Or my motion's a little shorter. The wrist, the flick of the wrist is to get the rotation on the bag for me. So if the boards are crazy slow, the bags are super slow. That gives the bag more rotation to slide up the board easily. So that's what that is. So if you watch me in a tournament where the boards are kind of quick, you won't see that wrist action as much.
Thank you so much for joining us on this new podcast of ours, and it was great to talk about cornhole. Great to learn more about the sport and learn more about you as a person. And we wish you all the best and best of luck. And we'll be cheering on you every time we watch cornhole on TV.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks for asking me. Honestly, like I enjoy I feel like this meet new people. You know what I mean? I enjoy all that. So, and I understand I started my own podcast, Cornhole Roast. Getting going is rough. So, I appreciate being one of the first few guests.
Well, thank you for coming on. Jeremiah Ellis, everybody, the Wilt Chamberlain of American Cornhole League. Okay, Wilt Chamberlain, everybody. Is that what you want to go by, Boogeyman or Wilt Chamberlain? Which one are we going with now?
No, we're going with the Boogeyman still. You know, that one was given to me, so I can't take it.
Bro, these people don't know who Big Justice and Big AJ are. This is ridiculous.
It's been 0-2 now, where we've had Scantron, who was totally confused by what was going on. And now we have Jeremiah coming out of nowhere with the zero Big Justice knowledge.
Yeah, you know, I
Although we came in with zero cornhole knowledge, so I mean, this is all about learning at the end of the day.
Bro, I introduced this to the Dolphins social team. You know, I introduced to Mallory. I said, like, do you know who, you know, AJ and Big Justice? I'm like, you work in social and you don't know who this is. This is a couple weeks ago, and now there are talks. There are talks to get them out to a Dolphins game.
Yeah, we have to get Jeremiah to a Dolphins game and his guys out there. I don't know if they really want to do it now, though, in this season with Tua being out. But, I mean, Dolphins fans gotta brave the storm at the moment.
Can we'll do I just want one thing out there. One thing out there that we're cutting. This is not in the podcast. Just make note of this. Okay, I was like, oh, the best cornhole player in the world's a Dolphin. She's like, you really? She's like, what's the name? I was like, why? She's like, what's the name? That's his name. And she's like, yeah, we're not building content. He doesn't have enough followers. Damn.
Oh my God.
No, that wasn't that. I exaggerated that conversation. I was like, I wasn't doing that for bringing him out to a game or anything. I'm just saying it's pretty cool, you know. But we're gonna get his profile up. He's gonna be big enough.
Yeah, we're gonna be the driving force to send him to a Dolphins game.
Well, I think if we did some trick shot stuff with cornhole.
Oh yeah, no, we should. If I just got a cornhole board out here, I mean, that would make my life easier. I think. But.
Like I envision that someday we're gonna be, you know, we'll play cornhole with him. We'll go play fling golf. You know, we'll do a bunch of this stuff.
Oh yeah, and eventually we'll be Stein holding as well.
Bro, is there like a skydiving championship? Like, I don't want to skydive. Like, I personally don't want to.
Dude, there's so many sports schwags. There's so many that I didn't know were real until we did this show.
Well, we're learning.
We're learning fast. We're learning too much. We learned about airmail today.
We do? Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. That was honestly, I think that's a very ironic term, airmail, because we're talking about a UPS driver that does really exceptional airmails in cornhole.
Well, I was thinking more like that sounds like the throws that we're seeing from the Miami Dolphins backups. You know, like Snoop Huntley out there just airmailing his wide receivers.
Oh, we can't be doing Huntley like this. I mean, they have top end wide receivers. They have great running backs, but I don't know why Tua was the center of everything on that team, but he was. So.
I mean, yeah, he was just. I mean, it's important to have a good quarterback.
No, it is absolutely.
Or a semi-functioning quarterback like that. I think when you look at the NFL and you look at like a guy like Daniel Jones per se, right? Daniel Jones is not the greatest quarterback ever, but if you took a backup, not Tommy DeVito, but like if you took a bad backup You know, like the difference. Like if you took a bad quarterback, if you put, let's just call this bad quarterback Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
If you put that hypothetical quarterback on a team like the New York Giants, they might never win again.
That's probably true.
Like I'm just saying, like hypothetically, if there was a quarterback named Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, hypothetically, if there was a quarterback out there named Deshaun Watson, I'm following with you. You don't think he would do that well on the Giants at all?
I mean,
you don't think they have enough depth to?
Is there like a double
help him out?
negative for this hypothetical quarterback who's also hypothetically a bad person? Is there a double negative that a team would hypothetically think maybe both of those being bad would make him somehow good?
Are you saying for, again, I'm just trying to follow up here, that if there was perhaps a quarterback with a funky name and terrible personal, emotion base and personality base and everlasting moral base being so absolutely flawed, if there was a guy out there that was playing quarterback named perhaps Deshaun Watson, that mayhaps, perchance, two negatives make a positive.
I'm just thinking that's the only logic that player.
Okay, I thought that's where we were going. Okay.
In a fantasy world, that's just the only way. It reminds me of when I was in middle school, and I had this teacher, Paul Phillips. Okay, and this teacher, her hard drive gave out, and she was trying to show us something. Her hard drive gave out, and she was like, maybe reverse psychology will work. She took the hard drive and just slammed it on the ground, and it just broke even further. That's what I think the Browns are. That's my analogy to the Browns with Deshaun Watson. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, it makes 100% perfect sense.
That makes sense. I'm with you on there.
But you see the logic there.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine there's someone in the league called Deshaun Watson?